Okay. Oh, look. Hi, hey, hello. Hey, hi, hello. Hey, hi, hello there. You can see my microphone. Okay. Brewmate. Still waiting on that email. Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and welcome to another installment of Book CommuniTEA, where I try to keep you abreast of the goings-on in the bookish community. So, I am sampling or trying this mic for the first time. Well, not the first time. This is the second time I'm trying this mic. The last time some of the audio got messed up. I don't know if it was the mic itself or me and my flailing arms. So I'm going to try to keep these in check, and hopefully this improves the sound quality of my video. It is kind of awkward also because I had it over my shirt, but then you can see the cord because it's not wireless. So I hope this isn't too close. It's going to be an experiment, so bear with me. My co-host Nigel, he hasn't been on his best behavior this morning, so he is downstairs. He may appear later or maybe just at the end. But for now, sadly, you just have me. Oh, and also, my name is Jess Owens. This is Jesse Owens, the famous track star. I am not related to him, and my name is not Jessie. You can call me Jessica or Jess, but please do not refer to me as Jessie. That is only for family members, and I don't even spell it this way, and I don't spell it with an I-E either. So just wanted to repeat that. I am Jess Owens. I know that's confusing, but this is Jesse Owens, a track star, and not me, because I don't run. So I wanted to start out with something that I was hoping was a joke, and I think it is. But, so as I'm filming this, it's the 8th of February, and there already have been some shenanigans in our already short month for Black History Month. So the first thing, so it popped up a few days ago that there was a Twitter account called White Working Class Writers Guild. And when someone tagged me in a tweet they made, I went to their Twitter profile and it said follows you. And I'm like, why would you follow me? So it said, representing the neglected voices of white working class writers in the United Kingdom, campaigning for equality of opportunity in the publishing industry. And I was like, is this for real? And other people were asking the same thing, like this tweet. And while I'm being mad, Ayana, are we going to have discourse about this? Like, she said, I know this could be very likely a troll account, but I'm exactly 10 shades of not in the mood for this foolishness. Y'all picked the wrong week. Seriously. And so a lot of people saw this and were like, this cannot be it. And a lot of the tweets that people saw have been deleted now because I think it is a parody account.
But let me show you a few of those tweets that I had saved in my phone. Quite a few of our followers suggesting we need to campaign for all working class writers. Why must white people always have their identities absorbed into something else? There's nothing wrong with representing white voices unless you're a racist. Please give us a follow if you'd like to hear more white working class voices in the publishing industry. Someone asked why they felt it was necessary to have a white working class writers guild, and they said because there currently is no group advocating for white writers, yet there are plenty of groups for all other types of writers. Where's the harm in speaking up for white voices too?
But now it's been changed. I went to the page. Now it says Guild White Working Class Writers, representing the neglected voices of white working class writers born with guilds in the United Kingdom. And so most of the previous tweets were deleted, and now it's all like white working class writers with guilds. Please tweet one of your favorite pieces you've published this year. And it's like, thank you to the land-dwelling writers who have shown us overwhelming support via our DMs in the past few days. So to the person who just attempted multiple security breaches of our reef, try harder. White working class voices with guilds will not be silenced. So now it's changed to like a joke account. So I don't know if that was the same people, but either way, it was like the wrong time. You chose this month to make that joke. And so I'm glad that it's gone. I'm glad it's a joke, but like, why? You don't have anything else to do? Then the school library journal's Twitter tweeted something that is now deleted also, and it said SLJ's February digital issue is available now, featuring coverage on LGBTQIA+ graphic novels, racially biased science, and more. I really said racially biased science. I meant racially biased. I'm sorry. Access is free for now. Click the link on the left side of the homepage, and then it has the image of the cover of the digital magazine. And the cover has a white girl holding a book with a black boy on it, and it says, "Why white children need diverse books." So like I said, that tweet has been deleted. I also went to their website to try to read like the article, and I don't know if it's because I'm like not a member, but I can't see all of it. I find it funny though that the tags are like diverse books, anti-racism, supremacy, Project Lit, and the hate you give. That's all. That always seems to be somewhere when we're like, read of a diverse book. That's like the only book people can think of. But the problem with this is that, do white children need to read diverse books? Do they need to see those stories as well? Yes. It's the centering of white children, like that Black authors and authors of color need to write their stories specifically for white children. No, they need to write them for their audience so children like them can see themselves reflected in stories. And then yes, white children, white people should read those stories so they can learn about other religions and cultures, but those should not be written specifically for them. And that's really what it sounded like. So this thread I thought was really great. And Kiara says, the way that this mindset, the centering of white children, white bettering at the cost of the energy of by POC, this white defaulting is so ingrained in every ounce of publishing, lights a fire in my blood almost every other day. It tires and dries me out from the inside. I've had this conversation with a handful of my bi POC authors. They are aware of this white defaulting and start the conversation themselves. What if I alienate the white readers? I take a deep breath and reply, don't worry about that. Put more twang in their dialogue. You know the Latinx kids from the hood speak with more rhythm, I said. Yeah, but I was worried about the gatekeepers, they said, and I clutched my chest because why can't my author have the freedom to write authentically without this weight? Why must it always be about the white gaze? The white moms and kids in the middle of America somewhere. Why must it always be suburbia, this and that? There is not yet a market for this. Well, make one. The bi POC readers are out there. All you have to do is focus on them. I strive for unapologetically authentic graphic novels. Part of my job is to bulldozer my way forward so my bi POC authors believe me when I say, don't worry about it. We deserve our own stories free of the white gaze, but we can't do this alone. This industry needs to change. And I thought that was a great synopsis of the entire situation because it's like the school library journal. So the editor said that they heard the comments on Twitter and wanted to respond. Their intention is to produce content of value to impact and serve our readers and the broader community. And that cover story for this month was intended to do just that. It says that SLJ has been in discussion for a long time, and we remain committed to exploring the power of literature for children and teens to fire young imaginations, open minds, and spark understanding and empathy toward a more just and compassionate society. So they thought they were intentional with doing this during Black History Month because their question was, how do we get white communities to read diverse books? And what is the role of librarians in this? And so they didn't expect this piece to provide answers. Rather, it would be the beginning of a conversation. And so they said there has been a resistance to diverse books, which are among the most challenged titles. And so they've heard that from librarians and have experienced pushback from parents in the community. And so then they explored the mirrors and windows philosophy. So like if white children see only reflections of themselves, they will grow up with an exaggerated sense of own importance and value in the world, a dangerous ethnocentrism, wrote Rudine Sims Bishops. So they need books that will help them understand the multicultural nature of the world they live in and their place as a member of just one group, as well as their connections to all other humans.
So this was published in 1990. Bishop's Words, which became a landmark essay in children's literature, mirrors, windows, and sliding glass doors, which I've heard Ashley from Bookish Realm mention because she's a librarian. And so their story, they thought the best headline would be Why White Children Need Diverse Books. So they had an illustrator, Sonia Sanchez, rendered a few ideas for the cover, and so their take on the cover was not meant to be blackface. They meant it to be a take on mirrors and windows, but they said the staff saw mirrors and windows. Obviously, the cover was interpreted differently. Blackface was not their intention, but as it was interpreted that way, and that's not what they meant, they wanted to reflect on this or respond to this, but it said, as the timing of our story, the effort to expand understanding and empathy through books seemed especially urgent to foreground now given the current state of the world and marked rise in blatant racism and bigotry here in America. We stand by our decision to publish in February, which is also Black History Month. Moreover, we should center Black stories all the time, as our reviews editor, Shelly Diaz, says. That is something we try to do at SLJ through our coverage, encompassing reviews, book lists, and more resources throughout the year. And so that was the letter from the editor, Kathy Ishizuka. But just if you saw that and were wondering why, it's that. It should not be centered on whiteness. But yes, white people should read diverse books, like point blank. But I love this tweet from LL McKinney. It said, the caudacity, the unmitigated gall. I love that. I'm going to have to add that to my vocabulary. Okay, so February, as I said, is Black History Month here in America. I said here in America. I'm not even in America. February is Black History Month in America. And so a lot of people are trying to focus on reading Black stories, which is great. So am I. And someone tweeted about this book that on the outside would look like it is a Black story written by a Black author, but is not. It's called Baker and the Geek by Chelsea Millen. Chelsea C.M. Lockhart tweeted, read books by Black authors and be careful out there, y'all. Everybody out there and who they portray to be. So the author is actually a white woman, and the characters on the cover of the book are both Black. So I too would assume that this was written by a Black author. Not that a white person can't write a Black story. It's just when like both main characters are Black, it's a main assumption that it's a Black author, right? So she got called out about this book, and I haven't read it, but her real name is Isabella Starling, or at least another name that she writes under, because she also writes like dark romance. And so she said she wanted to change her name to write like contemporary romance so that they wouldn't be confused. But so Isabella Starling said, I'm kind of in shock right now. Someone attacked my book today and called it literary blackface because I'm a white woman that wrote 2 Black characters and a third person POV. And I also had a sensitivity reader who worked on the book with me and helped me see how to make it better. I bought this pre-made cover and felt extremely nervous about writing POC since the novel would not be own voices, but I went through with it because the story came alive in my mind. I made special room for these characters in the series because I needed to tell their story. In fact, the gorgeous pre-made inspired me to write the whole series, and now I'm being attacked for it. I feel really weird about her saying I made special room. I don't like that. Then she said, I've been told not to write POC characters before. I never will again. I wanted to broaden my own horizons. I studied to prepare for this book. I wanted to make someone smile when they saw I wasn't afraid of writing characters other people don't write about. And yet it seems I failed. If my book offends you, I'm deeply sorry. I never meant to cause issues by writing 2 characters that are not the same as I am. Nevertheless, I love this book. I'm sorry I've let you down. I don't understand what she meant when she said, I wanted to make someone smile when they saw I wasn't afraid of writing characters other people don't write about. What? Other people don't write about. So you're saying there are no other people writing Black characters in romance? Is that what she meant? I think that's what she meant. Then this is I think a Facebook interaction. Someone said, I'm honestly confused. Is this your book? She said, yes. And then I guess they left a 1-star review.
She said, I'm going to assume this 1-star review that appeared an hour after your question is from you. I never meant to offend anyone with the book. I simply saw the pre-made and decided to keep it as is. I think it would have been a lot more offensive if I asked the designer to change the main character's skin color based on my own. The book is written in third person, and I hired a sensitivity reader who did an extensive critique of the work, so I redid most of it to be better suited. I'm sorry you felt compelled to leave this review, and I'm saddened you didn't even give the book a chance before deeming it 1-star worthy. Someone else commented, I'm really sorry. The thing is, authors do this all the time. I wholeheartedly support the Own Voices movement, but the truth of the matter is that Own Voices doesn't really exist in the romance genre, and I don't think romance readers actually want it to. If Own Voices was truly supported, then where is the backlash when British authors write Italian characters? When American authors write Irish or Scottish, Highlander, etc.? And usually authors who do this, including myself, don't bother with sensitivity readers. We just write an entertaining story. I feel like you've been unfairly called out, and I'm sorry it's happening to you. And Isabella Starling said, I understand now why we're discouraged to write anything different than the norm. I certainly won't again. She said, thank you for the support and helpful advice. This isn't a feel sorry for me post, but instead an apology to those whom my book offended. Please know I'm beyond embarrassed and ashamed to have upset you. I am still learning and trying to become a better person. I believed I was being inclusive, but trust me, words hurt, and I won't be attempting another book with characters that don't look similarly to me. I'm deeply sorry to all of you. I have unpublished Baker and the Geek and will no longer be writing as Chelsea Millen. The reason I started a new pen name is because I wanted to write small town, feel-good romance on that name as opposed to the darker stuff I write on Isabella. I in no way meant to hide it was me. There is a photo of me on the Chelsea website. I in no way meant any harm or offense, but I understand your criticism. All I ask is that you are please kind to an All I ask that you please be kind to an author who should have known better and is eager to learn. Please be kind. Oh, someone had the same feeling of me that said, the quote was, I wasn't afraid of writing characters other people don't write about. Hello, what does she read? There's a whole big world of authors of color writing POC romances. I love this interaction. It said, wait, she made a new persona for the book and can't understand why it's gross. I've written diverse characters and never had a problem because I don't do weird shit. And the OP said she did, and she has so many author friends defending her under her post. She's primarily a dark romance author under her main author name, I think. And they replied, she could make a new name and still be clear who she is. Being sneaky is how you fuck around and find out in this industry. I love that. Someone said, I cannot believe she actually had a sensitivity reader. Even aside from the writing outside her lane, the heroine escaped a domestic violence situation. And the hero's entire characterization was that he was angsty over being adopted. Neither of those was handled well. And then it said, and it sounds to me like her sensitivity reader was also her editor. Oh, no, Lord. I don't know. Someone said I was on her email list when she first announced the book. It looked like she had created a pen name specifically to write characters of color. It left a bad taste in my mouth. This is not to say that you cannot write characters that don't look like you, but you have to take extra care and do more research, take more time, have actual legit sensitivity readers to make sure that it's not coming off like token or stereotypical or appropriation. Like, you just have to be careful. It's not to say don't, but if you are, know that it's going to take you more work and more time than if you were just writing a character that was just like you. Hi, boo-boo. Are you going night-night? You gonna tell them night-night? Ooh, my mom's hands are ashy. You gonna tell them night-night? Sleepy angel. Boop, boop. Bye-bye. Night-night. Bye-bye. So then, to transition to the next topic, I saw this tweet, I think, amongst the discourse of that whole Baker and the Geek situation. And it's... The tweet says, not a white man writing a book series about black people with fried chicken, collard greens, hot sauce, and macaroni and cheese in the title. Not that, please. Oh my God. It says Al Herbert got a series of books about a black woman and her sassy cousin making soul food and solving murders because he wanted to write to a market that didn't have anyone doing it. The arrogance of a ranch roach call dropped. And I had never heard of this, so I had to go. I went to the Google and I went to Goodreads. And so I'll show you images of this, but when I type in Al Herbert, or it's A.L. Herbert, there is a picture for where the author picture is. It's just like a graphic of two black women. You see Sweet Tea, and it looks like their character images. And then the books are Murder with Fried Chicken and Waffles, Mahalia Watkins Soul Food Mystery. Murder with Macaroni and Cheese. Murder with Collard Greens and Hot Sauce. And Murder with Honey Ham Biscuits. So then I went to the good old Google and I typed in A.L. Herbert, and here comes a white man. I don't like that. So already those titles got me giving mad side eye. So someone mentioned that they read an interview with him and it made them even more upset. So I Googled, and there was an interview from 2015, interview with A.L. Herbert, author of Murder with Fried Chicken and Waffles. So I guess the characters are Wavon and Halia. It said Wavon and Halia are complete opposites in the book. Who in the acting world today could you see playing these two characters? It said, wouldn't that be great fun if I was fortunate to see the book make it to the screen? I would love to see Octavia Spencer in the role of Halia. And in a way, I think Niecy Nash would be a great fit for Wavon. There's an image here. I don't like it. And then there are recipes in the book. They said they sound so delicious. Are they passed down from your family? And he said only one is a family recipe. I guess it's a sweet corn and cheese casserole. No, thank you. What was your inspiration for Murder with Fried Chicken and Waffles? Do you have any experience in the restaurant industry? Said I was poking around in Barnes and Nobles one day and found myself in the mystery section where I noticed several mysteries with food in the title. I discovered the culinary mystery genre and fell in love with it. The more I read of these stories, the more I realized there was nothing in this genre with African American characters. I figured someone should write a culinary mystery with African American characters. Why not me? And how fun would it be to set it in a soul food restaurant? The more I realized there was nothing in this genre with African American characters, I figured someone should write a culinary mystery with African American characters. Why not me? Why you, Herb? Why? And they just feel really stereotypical. I do not like these titles at all. Murder with Fried Chicken and Waffles. I don't like that. I don't. With macaroni and cheese, collard greens and hot sauce, with honey ham biscuits. What you know about that food? If you've seen those books, just know that it's not a black woman or a black man writing those. Someone said that he gets really salty when asked about sensitivity readers too. He was at an event my friends attended and was just what you might expect from an entitled white dude. It's probably like, what do you mean? I've been in restaurants. I've eaten fried chicken. I can write about it. And finally, this is a white author writing another person of color, but they're not black. So they received criticism from someone who read an arc of their book. And this is the response, but it's not even from the author. It's like from a friend or a family member of the author, which is super weird. But the book is called Lycanthropy and Other Illnesses. So the tweet I saw said, this is not an acceptance response to valid art critique about racism and appropriation. If someone gives you feedback like this, sit with it and figure out how to undo your harm. Don't justify harm with trite racist excuses. Also, don't send your family to respond to reviews. Just don't. So Lycanthropy and Other Chronic Illnesses is by Kristen O'Neill, and it comes out April 27th. And I think this is a contemporary romance, a young adult contemporary romance. And it says teen wolf meets emergency contact in this sharply observed, hilarious, and heartwarming debut young adult novel about friendship and the hairy side of chronic illness. So I can't see the original what the person said about the book, but this is her family member's response to the critique of the arc. You brought up some good points on the review of Lycanthropy and Other Illnesses. I just wanted to assure you that the author's reason for writing the main character as Indian American was because she believed there was an underrepresentation of Indian Americans in literature and wanted to change this. She had been advised that there might be people who might assume racism by writing about a person from another race, but because she did want to give a wider voice to this group, she was willing to take the risk. She had her Indian American roommate and best friend review the portrayal through the writing process, and the editor did an additional diversity check with an independent Indian American female who was second generation. The easier route would have been for the author to make the main character white, but easier is not necessarily better. If we use the mentality that authors can only write characters of their same race, we would have been denied great literature like The Help, To Kill a Mockingbird, etc. Thank you for sharing. Now, I enjoyed To Kill a Mockingbird. Is that the best book to learn about like anti-racism, and that includes a black character written by a white person? No. And then The Help, again, same. Well, I was reading reviews, early reviews. There are a lot of positive reviews, but there was someone who wrote one. So I thought this review was really important, even though this person had not read the book. But they said, I'm a chronically ill, disabled Desi reader and writer. I'm also Indian American and Tamil, like the main character. I've been deeply troubled by the cultural appropriation, premise, and racist cover since I first heard of this book and shared my concerns on Twitter. And so they did mention they haven't read this book, but they wanted to leave a review since they've seen the subject, the premise, cultural appropriation, and racist justifications from the author and her friend. Also, with the cover, they say juxtaposing a dark-skinned brown character opposite a furry canine in the same pose is incredibly racist and hurtful. The idea of hairy brown people is also a historically racist stereotype. And using this on a cover by a white author who characterized this book as own voices is basically brownface. Second, writing a book with a disabled POC main character when you are a white disabled author is not own voices, as the author claimed. It is cultural appropriation, and calling it own voices shows you think disabled POC and disabled white characters are interchangeable. They are not. As disabled POC, we are multiply marginalized and our identities intersect in unique ways. Moreover, inequities in publishing make our voices the least heard as both disabled and POC writers. This does not mean you can speak over us or give us a voice, as the author's friend inappropriately claimed was the author's intent, by appropriating our identities. That is white saviorism, not allyship. We have our own voices. Then they continue to talk about how the main character's family is being portrayed as overbearing, and they said that you cannot capture the nuances and intersections in a non-racist, culturally sensitive way without being from the culture. Finally, Tamil rep is deeply underrepresented in publishing, even among Desi and Indian American rep, and has its own unique language, history, and cultural markers. It is not interchangeable with other Desi identities. I've literally had convos with other Tamil writers about how people only want Bollywood, North Indian stories, and how we don't know if anyone would want ours, let alone spoony Tamil Desi own voices stories. By appropriating an underrepresented identity within an underrepresented POC identity, you are compounding harm and making it much more difficult for disabled Tamil and Desi writers to be published, because publishers will say they already have one, and if it fails, won't bother with this rep from actual own voices authors at all. And then there's links to resources threads with more information. So I think that's super important because, as we have seen before, publishing really does like to say, well, if we already have Angie Thomas, why do we need Jason Reynolds? So as a white author, should you be taking that space away from an actual marginalized author? And it's no. Can you write about people who don't look like you, who have different disabilities than you? Sure. Should you? I don't think so, because like they said in this review, then you're going to be taking that place. Publishing loves to check that one diversity box and be like, okay, we've got our story. No need for any more people in that group. No one is saying, no, never write outside of, your race, ethnicity, culture, all these things. There's a great video I watched recently from Sajid at Books Are My Social Life that I'll link below. And it was titled, Should White Authors Write POC? And so a lot of the conversation was because people have been talking on Twitter a lot about The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, who's obviously a white woman. Addie is a white, minor, it's not really a spoiler, but if you don't want to hear anything about the book, but Addie LaRue is the main character. She's white, she's from France, she lives for 300 years because she gets granted this wish of immortality. And through these 300 years, she really doesn't encounter any people of color. And so people are upset about that, and they're like, how unrealistic is this? She has this ability to live forever, she can travel wherever she wants, and she doesn't come across people of color. So, which is a valid criticism, a valid question. He talked about a few different things in that video, like the fact that if you want diversity and diverse characters, to diversify your shelves as a whole and not specifically looking at one book as diverse. So you read from different authors from, you know, all over the world, and so you can get diverse stories that way. And then he kind of talked about do we want white authors to write POC, because most of the time it's not done well. But then there's the conversation, if they leave them out, then it's like, you didn't include any POC. So do you want them to write them even if they're not going to do it well, or not include it at all, and then their books are just very white centric? I don't think there's a clear answer there, but for me, because I did read Addie LaRue and I did really enjoy it, I didn't go into it expecting there to be diverse characters because it's Victoria Schwab. I'm like, that's what I expected from the story, and so I loved the story. If he definitely argues it better in that video, and also brings up what that reviewer said of, okay, and also if you're telling these marginalized stories, are you thinking about whose spot you're taking? Like, you're taking up a space from an actual own voices author. There are a lot of amazing books that have come out, that are coming out by actual Black authors and South Asian authors. If you are on Instagram, you should follow Bookstagram Represent. Kat does an amazing job at sharing books by all different groups. I'm always like, aware of new things that are coming out. So you should definitely go follow them on Instagram. I'll link down below. So we've only made it through the first week of Black History Month, and there was a lot. I hope that it could be calm for the rest, but I don't know. I may take a break. I'm tired. I'm just tired in general. I'm just kind of fatigued with the lockdown and the pandemic. I'm just tired. I'm tired of editing. I'm tired of closed captioning, mainly because I'm tired of hearing my own voice and looking at my face for hours on end. They've just changed the rules again here, and we have to wear a mask outside, even like on base, which we didn't have to before. Like if we're like exercising or walking the dog, like we didn't have to, and now we do. And now I don't even want to leave the house. I just want to watch TV and lay on the couch and feel sorry for myself. I hope you're taking care of yourself and wearing your mask, wearing 2 masks, I guess. Washing your mask, washing your hands, wearing your sunscreen, drinking your water, wearing your chapstick. Staying at home, okay? Stay at home. And hopefully I'm back on my normal upload schedule this week. Last week I just was tired and I just didn't feel like it. So anyway, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. Please check out the description box. I have any kind of information that I might have referenced in this video linked down below, links to my social media, issues that are going on around in the world, and ways to support my channel. But again, thank you so much. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.